So you grew up in Lexington.
Yes. That's public schools in the country.
That's very true. That's very true. And also you live in Brookline.
Yes.
What do your parents still live in Lexington right now?
No, they moved to Brookline. Once we started having kids, the kids were the anchor to move.
Yeah, makes sense.
Very typically, I always tell people Brookline, Newton, Belmont, and then Lexington is kind of the rings of how urban you want to get. And so I'm a city girl, grew up in Lexington. I loved Lexington. It was a very stable place to grow up. It was very quiet. But I think that having lived in Los Angeles and San Francisco and Berkeley, I'm just more comfortable with the city.
Okay.
And Sean's work, my husband's work, is at Harvard Medical School, which is in Longwood, which is, had we moved to Lexington or Belmont, it would have added another, like 45 minutes in his commute. And he is not a commuter. So I've always been the driver. So it was important to us to stay close.
Right.
The public school system is a great real estate anchor. We did not have kids when we moved to Brookline, but I always recognize that being in a place with good public schools means that your real estate values are always going to continue to go up. Yeah. Because you have, right now, I think it's about $50,000 a year to put one kid through 1 year of preschool through senior year in high school. So that's a lot of money. And so if you can avoid that and be in a neighborhood school and a free neighborhood school, to me, that's a huge bonus. Private schools are great here too. Because we have really good public schools, a lot of our clients will pick private schools that are nearby with kind of the same culture. But I do find that the one thing that private schools or elite schools in some neighborhoods don't have, the cities, they have Boston, Cambridge, and Somerville. They're not neighborhood school districts, which is really good. I mean, you can get like a really good magnet school to be in any of these cities. But for me, having 3 kids and both my husband and I working a lot,
that's going to be too much.
The ability for our children to walk to school and to be entertained by their friends that are in school, it's mostly a giant babysitting game. The neighborhood school system makes it easier on the parents, I think.
Course. So. Yeah. So what do you think about, I don't know, I mean, it's been many years when you were a kid and attending the Lexington public school system. Any difference between these two public school systems?
Brookline is more urban, and so Brookline is a bit more diverse. The school system
makes sense.
is, I mean, most of the people who live in Brookline, our kids, it's non-busing, and so there are no buses that will take you to school. So my children from age 10 up use the train, use the city bus system. They're extremely urban, independent kids. From an educational standpoint, there's a slightly different culture. A lot of people move to Lexington specifically for the public schools, whereas people might be in Brookline because of its proximity to the city. And I think that there's the diversity is different. So I think that Lexington is now something like 50% Asian and South Asian in some of the incoming kindergarten classes. I've had clients, for some people, that's very comforting. And for other people, it's terrifying because you have a bunch of tiger moms and tiger dads. I actually think that having lived in other parts of the country, even though there's academic pressure in Lexington, it's not coming from this very high class education. My feeling is that Lexington gives you the opportunities, but it's up to your kids and up to you to decide how much pressure you're putting on your kids. So I would still, if I wasn't so torn or stuck in the city, I would definitely go back to Lexington. I think the schools are incredibly supportive. They have resources. They do in Lexington, in Brookline and in Newton also, all in Belmont. These are all school systems where they know that their job is to get their kids, to the next step. In one piece, healthy, happy, and knowing what they need to do for the next step.
I think at the end, the school basically just provide you, the public system or the private system basically provide you the platforms.
And resources.
But at the end, it's going to be your choice, how you want to, your kids and your kids' choice, how they want to be. Right? It's not like you have to do something because you're in this school district. It's still your choice. But you do have the resource to do whatever you want.
And they're incredible. My husband grew up in a rural part or semi-rural part of Texas. And he grew up in a part of the country where you had to be number one or else you were never going to get ahead because you didn't have recruiters looking at your school and looking at you. So he's been the valedictorian of both his high school and his college. And he went to a big public state school in Texas. And so to him, he was very nervous because our kids were kind of middle of the road academically. And he's like, you guys are going to be trash pickers for like your entire lives. And I think Lexington also, the theory on education has changed a lot.
Your husband is very Chinese.
He is the tiger mom in our relationship. Yes, he's the one like, you don't quit, you do a sport, you do a musical instrument.
It sounds so familiar.
Yes, and he's white. So I was the product of, very excellent tiger parenting. But I went through all of the, going to Chinese school, going to piano. I played the cello. I was in science fair. I was, captain of a track team. But at the end, when I went to Berkeley, I didn't really feel like any of the things that I did were things that I was motivated to do. I was told to do them. I knew I had to do them, but it really wasn't me who was doing them. And so with our kids, I'm always the one that's like, you should fail, you should quit, figure out what you want to do and move on. If you don't like it, move on. You can always come back to it. My husband's the one that was like, you cannot quit. He told our 3-year-old at the time he couldn't quit soccer because he made a commitment. And I was like, I'm pretty sure he had no idea what soccer was and what a commitment is. He's 3. He doesn't remember past last week. But yeah, so I think coming from Lexington and going to other places, you realize you have really a lot of resources. My husband didn't realize this until our oldest went to high school this year. And we went to all the parent orientations.
Yeah.
And I think Sean came out going, holy crap. Like, now I see. Like, there's so much support here and so many resources. Yeah. Even our slightly failing at a math kid will probably be okay. And I think Sean wants to go back to high school, but in Lexington, Newton, or in Brookline. And I think that, like, as real estate agents, we always try to get in with the school system, right? To have resources there. Like in Newton, I have a very good friend who is the vice principal in one of the high schools. And I think that it's easy enough in all of these towns to call the superintendent's office or call your friend who is working the system and say, hey, how are things really working out in terms of zoning or, getting your children into different classes, opportunities. And I think that that's part of our job. Not just to know the houses, but know the neighborhoods, know the schools, know the restaurants, know transportation. So we're kind of jack of all trades. Master of none.
Okay. Yeah, this one sounds very interesting.
Yeah. So I think that there's a difference in who might be there, but also there are differences in who might be in any school year to year. Like even for my kids, the 3 of them, they're all 2 years apart. One of them has a class that's very athletic. One of them has a class that's very quiet, like the whole grade. I don't know why, right? And so some of them have more girls and boys. And so I always say, people say, oh, well, this school in Lexington gets a 7 out of 10 and this one gets a 9 out of 10. I'm like, that was just a parent who filled out the questionnaire. Like they're all excellent schools, very supportive. In Lexington and in Brookline, I think that most of the teachers are PhDs. And so we used to call them like Dr. Five Ash, Dr. Smith. And I told my son, who's in high school and not the best student, I went to a very good public school for high school. I went to, at the time, the best public school in the country. And my education at Lexington High School was 10 times better, at UC Berkeley. The universities, they're there to do research. They're brilliant scientists. They're brilliant linguists, but they're not necessarily devoted to teaching your children. These in Lexington and Belmont and Brookline and Newton, these are individuals who could have gone on to brilliant careers in whatever they wanted to do. But instead, they chose to teach teenagers and to devote their lives to helping these kids through what is arguably like the hardest part of their educational. And so you just have such focus and such care, paired with very good teaching skills and a passion for whatever subject it is. So it's hard to beat. And it's free.
That's very important. I agree a lot. I think a lot of those educators, they need the love, they need the passion to do their job. Otherwise, they're going to quit the first day, I guess. Okay. All right. Sure. That's a very good conversation.
I'm always talking to you.
We probably can do more in the future.
Sure.
I'll say so.
Absolutely.
Right? And we all have a very, very good 2026. Yes. And hopefully we can talk to my fans.
Very nice to meet you all.
All right. Thank you for your time.